Hey friends, so we're gonna make soft tacos today for lunch out of just what we have on hand. It probably seems like we eat a lot of Mexican, and we do. We like, because it's easy in addition to Italian, so it's kind of a mix between the two because both are pretty versatile. So what I have in my house is avocados that I scored at Aldi when they were on sale. I scored 10 of them. I keep them in the refrigerator and just pull one or two out at a time to ripen up in my bowl. But I have like some apples and I had some tomatoes in there. There's other extra stuff in there too. That way they don't all ripen at the same time and I end up going to waste. I had these two Roma tomatoes left over from my last grocery, and they're starting to get a little bit soft, but they'll be fine for tacos. And then I'm doing a can of corn and black beans. I have some leftover refried beans from the other day when I did those nachos in the oven. And then I'm trying an experiment that hopefully works out. I'm making some rice, some jasmine rice, which is my kid's favorite, and I no longer buy any other kind of rice. But I'm making a double batch, and it calls for 3 cups of water, but one of those cups I put in 1 cup of this salsa that I've had in the refrigerator for a while. So hopefully it turns out well. I also have a little bit of ground beef that I'm gonna brown up for the meat eating part of our family. And then I had shared on my blog, and I'll share again, the recipe that I have used for making your own taco seasoning. I don't do measurements anymore, I just eyeball it, but just for reference, I'll be sure to tag the recipe so that you have measurements to go off of. Now, one of the things that I did with the rice, you'll see in here, this only takes like 15 minutes, so I'm just going to show you. You cook it with the lid on. It's just now starting to simmer, so I'm going to turn the heat down for just a second. I gave it a really good stir, which I typically don't with just water, but that way everything gets mixed in there with the salsa. So fingers crossed that turns out okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down to probably a 2 because it's on a smaller burner. And then I have some frozen ground beef that I picked up at Aldi. This is not my typical pan I use, but everything's in the dishwasher right now. But I pick up, on occasion, maybe once a month, a larger package of ground beef from Aldi or from Walmart. And I always get the 80-20 because the fat adds a little bit more flavor and it's cheaper on my budget. So I'm just gonna brown this up, and then I'll add in the spices just like you typically would according to most taco seasoning package directions. Altogether, this is a pretty quick meal. It might take a little bit longer since my ground beef is frozen and it was kind of a last minute choice for us, and I didn't thaw it out in the refrigerator overnight. But it's probably going to be not too much longer than it takes for the rice to cook, which is, like I said, 15 minutes. So definitely less than 30 minutes for a quick lunch on the weekend. Since my beef is frozen, I went ahead and got the largest that I have and just kind of put it over the top. That way it cooks a little bit more evenly, holds in that heat, and kind of steams the meat around so I can hopefully brown it up a little bit quicker. On my black beans, I just dumped the can. I've tried the bagged beans, and in desperation I will use them, but I really prefer the taste of the canned, and so do my kids. So the only thing I really do is I sprinkle in a little bit of kosher salt. I don't measure it, so I just kind of eyeball it. Just try not to put too much. I'm not sure how much I actually put. That's about it. Maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then I put a good helping of minced garlic, which I'm not getting much out of that since it's at the bottom. I'm just going to give it a stir and just let it heat through, and that's about it. Okay, so here's my ground beef. It's almost completely browned. Again, it's taken much longer because I didn't have the forethought to thaw it out ahead of time. Here are my black beans, looking good. And then the rice, this is what it looks like. Oop, there's some steam, all done. I just need to stir it up, and I'm just kind of keeping it warm. And then over here, I've cut up my avocado and just put some lemon juice, some from my bottled lemon juice that I keep in the refrigerator in there. We really like just the avocado as it is, but the lemon juice adds a little bit of flavor to it and keeps it from turning brown. I'm gonna dice these up. I've got my refried beans that I'm gonna heat up, and then the corn I'm just gonna heat up, and then we're just gonna end up having like a do-it-yourself soft taco station. And I was gonna show you, these are the soft tortillas that we're going to be using. I ended up scoring these from Sam's Club. I got 2 of them. I can't remember what I paid, but it was right under $4 for a 3-pound package, which is 40 count. So there's 40 in here, and I bought 2 of them at the time and just stuck one in the freezer because our family goes through a lot of flour tortillas. So that's what I do a lot with bread, just to eliminate the number of times that we're going to the store due to the pandemic, is I'll buy several and put them in the freezer to save for later. All right, so these are all the seasonings that I'm going to be using to season my meat. I've already put a little chili powder in and black pepper. I've got cumin, just regular salt, garlic powder, and a little bit of crushed red pepper. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of this in. What I'll do is I'll sprinkle what I like in here, and then I'm gonna add in some water and just let it all mix together, and then we're all set for lunch.